Well, hey everybody, happy Sunday. I hope you are all being very kind to your moms. I've been outside and my allergies are kind of acting up. But I just got finished doing the remaining grading, the final grading of the last discussion board question. And I also went through Launchpad and double checked to make sure I captured every grade that you completed. Now it's all in Blackboard. So your job, if you choose to accept it, is to go through your grade book and double check and make sure that your grades are being captured, okay? So you've got your final opening tomorrow. It closes on Tuesday. I will be, by Wednesday, you'll see your grade. And Wednesday, you have all day to tell me what you think. And then Thursday, I'm submitting it. Now, when I say what you think, it means if you don't like your grade, I'm sorry. But your grade is a reflection of your work. You earn it, and I'm just the person who writes it down. Your discussion board questions have been really great this semester, and there's just kind of one thing I just really want to say to you guys, because this has been a tough, bizarro semester, and there's been a lot going on. So aside from just the class announcements, I wanted to say to you that I miss you all. I'm sorry the semester was the way it was. I mean, I apologize. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It is what it is, and we're all doing the best we can, I hope, as we just get through the spring. So part of history is really looking back and seeing what can we glean, what can we learn from the past. And there are a couple things I hope we can glean from the past, learn. And as you go forward, I want you to think about these things, and everything I want you to think about is transferable. It's just not about history, but there are a couple of real basic themes in history. First of all, there's power. Remember, power differential. So how do you get power? How do you maintain power? How do you lose power? Who do you follow if you are a person who follows? And how do you lead if you are a person who leads? If you want to be a leader, what are the qualities of a good leader? You have to ask yourself that. And only you can ask yourself that. Barnum and Bailey said there's a sucker born every minute. And what he means by that is that people are generally pretty gullible and believe whatever they feel in their gut. So that leads to, when it comes to power, are you deriving your power from an emotional response or an intellectual response, a rational response? I mean, it doesn't mean that it has to be one or the other, but how are you using power, or how are you being a leader that meets the needs of the people you lead? Or if you're a follower, how does the leader meet your needs? Do they? Sometimes we have to make some, we have to reason out some of the things we feel, I think, in order to move the human being, the species, forward. We can't simply rely anymore just on our emotions. We have technology that allows people to come to power who may not actually have earned the right to be in power. There are algorithms. There are different things that we live with now that have kind of changed the dynamic of how people get power. And there's a disbelief sometimes, like, how did this person get this? And I think we need to evaluate that and look for that. And I'm not talking about anyone specific. When it's just all over. Does not really matter. This isn't person specific. This is thinking. I I don't want your emotions to rule you as you move forward in your life. I mean, we need our emotions. Sometimes a gut feeling is a feeling we have about something, but that a gut feeling, a true gut feeling, is a combination of past experiences, so rational thought, along with something that you felt before in your gut that's associated with a rational thought or process. I'm trying to get this. So that's something I want you to think about. There's also conflicts, as like we had in the last discussion board question, between religion, which is a very emotional, power. Once again, are we gullible? It doesn't mean if you believe in God, if you consider yourself a good Christian, a good Jew, a good Muslim, Hindu, it doesn't matter. Religion's religion. But are you doing that because that's what's in your heart? Do you really believe this? Is it because your parents do this? Why do you do what you do? And one of the things that I love about teaching, and one of the things I really love about teaching college and high school students in this setting, in the college setting, is that I'm always fascinated with how you are looking at the world. It's, I'm a boomer. And so I grew up in an environment that was very, very different than yours. My kids are millennials, and they teach me a lot, even now. I mean, all the time, they teach me a lot. I watch Rick and Morty because of them. They've introduced me to some great new music artists. They've done, humor that is over the top great. And I remember when I was a teenager and remembering, don't trust anyone over 30, and, our parents thinking rock and roll would be gone away. It was a fad, but it wasn't. I remember going through those thoughts in my mind, and I couldn't understand why my parents, or parents in general, could not, were so down on some of my music or whatever. Now, I say that, but I came from a family of unicorns, and we danced to Chubby Checkers, and we all listened to rock and roll. The Beatles were very much our favorite band. My father was in World War II, and he hated the Vietnam War, and he wrote the senators, Senator Javits, all the time in New York. He was against the Vietnam War. So I come from a kind of a unicorn progressive family, but fiscally responsible. And so basically, what I'm saying as I share this is that I was raised in an environment where new ideas and new thoughts could enter into a conversation, where we had fun, where we played together, we danced together, we sang together, we ate together. And I wish that all for you guys, because it's all those experiences and the dynamic between what we believe and what we feel or what we think creates an environment for us to evaluate the world in a more rational way, without being heartless and without being only like Spock, without feeling, because we are feeling. I mean, to be human is to be a feeling, being. So in those experiences, I want you to look at power dynamics. I want you to look at conflict. I want you to try and be more understanding of people who don't necessarily believe the way you do. Don't be mean or hateful to them because you just can't understand it. Instead, I ask that you try to find out, why do you think they believe the way they believe? And if you can't, and determine, am I going to, in the course of a conversation, will I change their mind? If you don't think you can change their mind, or if you don't think you can agree to disagree, walk away. Make some choices that are good for you, that take care of you, because that's very important. You should not disregard your own needs and your own feelings like that. Um, um, so power is one of these things we're looking at right now. How are people in power taking care of this virus all over the globe? What are different people doing? There's a lot of different ways that different leaders are addressing it. Are women leaders addressing it differently than men who are leaders? What about the most vulnerable populations in our country? People of color, Latino, and Native Americans. Native Americans have really suffered under this. People who are quote unquote essential workers. We're seeing flaws. We're seeing big flaws in the foundations of who we are. How do we address that? Do we just go on Facebook or Instagram and click, or Twitter and say we like or we don't like something? Do we act on it? I hope that you can look back at places we've studied: the Renaissance, Islam, the rise of Christianity, the ancient world, the Greeks, and philosophy and science, democracy, a republic. I hope that you can look back on stuff that we have studied and can use that in your deliberations in your mind as you think going forward, and that you do things that are not just in your best interest, but like in the immediate, but your best interest long term too. And I think that that's just important. And I hope that that you all just take some of these concepts and some of these ideas with you into the world, and ponder them as you experience life more. I hope your summer goes really, really well. I'm not gone. Obviously we have our finals, but I am here for you if you need anything. And if we all get back to school in the fall, I hope very, very much to see your smiling faces. And, and even if we can't give each other big hugs yet, we'll give each other air hugs. Okay? So I love you all. Mean it. And and don't forget to do the student evaluations. And you don't have to do it and say, oh, I love Ms. Khan. I really do want you to do it, and I want you to share your thoughts very much. Okay? Be honest, please, and send me a screenshot when it's done, and those are 5 extra points. Okay? All right. Well, I'm back outside and working in the yard. And I hope you guys have a really, really great day, and give your mothers big hugs and big kisses and let them know how much you love them. Okay? Alrighty. Bye. And let's see if I can get this off.